The Pod Network Entertainment.
Who's ready for story time?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to him.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Star, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
Watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C. Romoran and Rowan ASH checking in from the Pod Network studios and calling in via satellite like The Rock from a decade ago. Emil Nate checking in from his home province of Naga. So we did part 1 of the year-end awards, which should already be on your feed as of this point. And like we said, in part 1, ang dami natin pag-uusapan na categories. That's why we needed to split up our year-end awards into 2 episodes. Big shout out and big thanks first going out to Babyface producer Jasper and Babyface producer Kuya Jeff over here at TPN for making sure that the setup is up and running. If you're catching this on video, thank you very much. And if you're catching us on audio, not much of a difference from how you normally enjoy your wrestling podcast episodes.
Yeah. It's fun, and we're gonna hope to do this again soon, hopefully. Even if hindi nag-align ang schedules namin, they have told us that we can apparently do this. They have shown us the technology, and I think you could be seeing more of us in the studio in 2024.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Just like in Discovery ni GMA, di ba? Stem cells work for us. Kaya palang hybrid setup sa podcasts. So, we're gonna be doing this more and more. So, Emil, kahit wag ka nang bumiyay pa Maynila pag nag-10th anniversary tayo.
I
one less mouth to feed.
For that.
No, one less mouth to feed, Emil.
Wow.
Stay there.
Wow.
Pero you know, back in 2022, our 8th anniversary, parang balak natin nun, I'll stay at home kasi parang may pasok pa ako that time.
Mm-hmm.
Pero eventually parang na-cancel. And then parang nagtuloy na tayo sa setup na ganito.
Yeah, we're just really happy that we were able to make things work. So thank you again to TPN for everything that you do to make our lives so much easier here on the podcast. No Chino, by the way, for the year-end awards because he is taking his quarterly LOA from the pod.
In the States.
Ganun talaga. This time of the year, he's got to be with family, just like all of you, all of us. That's why we also pre-record these before the holiday break kicks in. All right, let's get to the next half of our year-end awards. We're going to pick things up with another new category that Chino himself actually submitted, and this is the non-wrestling wrestling media of the year. So basically, this is wrestling media that isn't necessarily a wrestling show. So it could be a soap opera or a TV series. It could be video content like a vlog, or it could be documentaries. So we're going to start with Chino's pick, and he selects Hey EW. So ito yung YouTube show ni RJ City, where he interviews wrestlers, most of whom stay in character, and then for the most part, ginagago lang sila ni RJ City. Like, he asks them these very offbeat questions to try and throw them off, and most times it works, but I think nakahanap si RJ City ng katapat when he came across Timeless Tony Storm.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you know, I don't like the series at all, pero yung Timeless Tony Storm episode lang yung parang naging favorite ko, as well as that Big Show episode or Paul White episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I can't say I watch it every week, but I see the clips because they post it on Twitter, right? So it is pretty good. RJ City is really, really funny. He's been doing that since before AEW. If you follow him on social media, yeah, he was on WWE programming then, or WWE Adjacent programming as well. So that's why he is a wrestler. For those who don't know, he's a wrestler.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He found his niche as a comedy entertainer in wrestling, but not as an active competitor. Because if you're able to make your money without risking your body, then more power to you, diba? So, and he's really, really good at it. Like he is once in a lifetime comedic genius, comedic brain. So ibang yung comedy niya compared to other comedy acts in the business, right? A lot of them. So if you can catch that and if that's your thing, you should go do it kasi it is pretty fun content.
Ito, reko ni babyface producer Jasper, the Danhausen episode of Hey EW.
You should go watch the Shibata episode then kasi it's fun to see him try to break Shibata.
All right, let's go to Emil for his pick for non-wrestling wrestling media of the year.
All right, so my pick is the season 4, which aired this year of the docu-series Dark Side of the Ring. And hindi ko napanood lahat ng episodes, but there was a couple of episodes there that I really liked. The first one was the episode about Sonny and Chris Candido. That was really good. And then the 2000 WCW Bash at the Beach, where I saw Vince Russo was there, Eric Bischoff, and basically that was like the low point.
Sila.
That was the low point of WCW, where hindi sila magkasundo on what is gonna happen, and Hogan quitting WCW that night. So yeah, Dark Side of the Ring are always gems. I mean, not every episode maybe is in your taste, but whenever you would get episodes na talagang yun yung topic na you're interested in, there would be yun talagang you really like it, and those were the 2 episodes for me this season that really captivated me.
Yeah, so I actually watched every episode of Dark Side of the Ring to date just because I like learning about the history of wrestling through documentaries. So, I didn't really know, Magnum TA, for example. Like, I remember a certain pariah from the local industry who used to sing the praises of Magnum TA. And I never knew who Magnum TA was until I actually consumed itong Dark Side of the Ring. JYD was someone I was more familiar with, so I appreciated yung episode on him. Abdullah the Butcher, yun, medyo notorious pa rin, di ba, on social media. So, to find out how long-lasting talaga yung effects ng mga misadventures, for lack of a better term, ni Abdullah the Butcher was pretty jarring. So, Dark Side of the Ring does a very good job of bringing these topics to light and making them more accessible to wrestling fans of all levels of investment into the industry. Let's get to Rowan's pick.
Yeah, my pick would be MWF on Eyewitness. So, actually, yung naunahan ako ni Ro dito yung sa Wrestlers on Netflix.
Yeah.
Although, 2 episodes pa lang napapanood ko dun eh. Pero, parang, this is the closest one I can put here kasi napanood ko. So, yeah, much like Netflix series Wrestlers, it's a good show for any wrestling fan, whether you started watching or you have been a long time fan. Like, makikita mo yung struggles ng MWF na like from the bashing, yung mga hate comments na nakukuha nila, and then also yung sacrifices na yung binibigay nila, the pain, the injuries they endure. They just told it through that Eyewitness documentary. We even got to know Macho Franco, the Pinoy wrestling legend from the 80s, and he lives a good life now, working as a tricycle driver. So yeah, if you haven't watched it, you gotta watch it. It's free on YouTube.
It's not long as well, diba?
Oh,
it's not long.
Parang 15 minutes lang ata.
Yeah, about 15-30 minutes. I remember watching it while I was on the exercise bike. Wala pa ako sa MWF nun, so it was actually fun content for me too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Rose Pick since Rowan already alluded to Wrestlers on Netflix.
Wrestlers, it's the docu-series, the sports docu-series on Netflix that came out earlier this year. So if you were a fan of the series Last Chance U and the others that were like it, this was made by the same creator. So it is, as Rowan alluded, it is yung look at how the current Ohio Valley Wrestling, run by Al Snow and his motley crew of independent wrestlers, are trying to survive in a post-funding, post-WWE developmental territory status world. Diba? So it's a nice look at how these things operate outside of the WWE AEW level, because a lot of fans, as in a staggering, almost unsurprising amount of fans, do not understand that a lot of the wrestling that gets fed into the WWE system comes from these places and comes from these levels. Diba? So it's a look at the non-glamorous side of it all, the struggling side. It's similar to the MWF story, and in some ways,
ma-appreciate mo yung buhay ng mga wrestlers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of people like to say that, you know, the wrestling business was ruined because fans started to know more than what they were supposed to. But ito yung example of things that I wish every fan knew and understood. Because, yes, you're eventually going to find out about how things work, how the sausage is made, but you also will find out about the real lives of people like us, you know, wrestlers like us, and the struggles that we go through in just trying to make it big, diba? Which not everyone is gonna get to do. So if there is one thing that is recommended viewing for you as a wrestling fan listening to this, kung may Netflix ka, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch this and then go watch the Eyewitness documentary.
Yeah, 7 eps lang siya. It's just less than 7 hours of your time. So if you have time to spare during the holiday break, go catch Wrestlers on Netflix. And after that, go check out yung review namin ni Grace Leader on that one sa post-show recaps, which I was privileged to be able to do then for both the US and Philippine markets. My pick for non-wrestling wrestling media of the year is Heels Season 2. You know, anytime you have a mainstream or mainstream adjacent drama about professional wrestling, I will always be hooked into it. Granted, the narrative wasn't the best because the Jack Spade character, played by Stephen Amell, is one of the worst people in the industry. You know, that said, the story was still fun to watch. I enjoyed seeing AJ Lee getting back in the ring as El Dorado, yung character niya dun. Heels got canceled actually by Stars shortly after season 2 concluded. So that's kind of sad, and I'm hoping, and so was Stephen Amell and the rest of the cast, na somebody picks it up and is able to migrate it to a different streaming platform or a different channel. Wala yung timing ng Heels season 2 was really affected by the SAG-AFTRA strike, so hindi din siya ma-promote ng cast and crew. So it was very unfortunate, and it was one of the biggest contributors to the low ratings of Heels season 2. Ro, I know you were able to catch this one, diba?
Yeah. When you say that Jack Spade is one of the worst people in the business, obviously he's a fictional character.
Yeah.
What we mean by that is that if you are a wrestler or a personality in the industry, he is the best person to not emulate. As in, do not be like him as a wrestler, as a promoter, as a booker.
Wag tularan.
Wag tularan. As in, that is, I think, the biggest lesson that Stephen Amell is trying to tell with the character, diba? And because the series was canceled, I guess he's gonna have to be paralyzed forever.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah. So yun. It's also another look. It's just told through fictional drama, but obviously for some they're gonna get inspired by how, you know, Jack Spade follows his heart, diba? And fucks everything up for himself and his company
and his family.
Yeah, and his family. So, but it is still another look. It's still a pretty realistic look, if I may say so, on how things are done in the business.
Yeah. You know, when I was writing reviews for Heel Season 1 on Smark Henry, I would say na nagkaka-flashbacks ako on stuff that we went through, Ro, back in the PWR days because of how it really hit close to home. So, like I'm going to echo what Ro said here. Now, it does give you a realistic overview of the inner goings-on of wrestling. All right, let's move on to the next category, which is new wrestling theme of the year. So, very simple din to. Dapat the theme song came out in 2023. And I just want to mention the local scene real quick for the honorable mention. And it's a bit of putting oneself over here. But the Oro Plata Mata theme, which you hear on in MWF, is an honorable mention pick from me just because I want to give Joey Roque a shout out, or Joey Rosas, however he wants to be acknowledged for this one.
He's actually the same person.
Shut up, Rowan. He's actually the guy who works on yung themes namin. He's our Jim Johnston or our Mikey Rocos.
Yep.
So he actually puts so much attention to detail into the themes, and I worked with him very closely on this one. So I really love how Sinister and Final Boss, the OPM theme comes out. It makes me more excited to actually hear our music, and I love how even the individual members of the stable get their own remixes, which still are very much tied into the main theme if you listen to the musical elements of the Oro Plata Mata themes as a whole. So just want to give a shout out to that. Rowan, if you want to say something about it, because I saw you nodding your head.
Oh yeah, I do appreciate Joey Roque kasi mahirap yung promotion na wala kang in-house music maker.
Yeah.
Like dati nung nasa PWR kayo, like you guys are using real world music. I remember you using an Eminem theme, 3 AM. Tapos baka ano pa kayo, kasuhan ba yun?
Ma-feel scap kami nun.
There you go. And same as MWF, ganun din sila when they were in their younger years. William Melvin wasn't making music for them that time pa. So it was sobrang swerte nila na there's a talented guy like Joey na he can do it all. Like di mo it's wala sa itsura niya pero he's really talented.
One day gagawa niya rin ng entrance theme si Ro kasi he inserted himself na into canon eh.
That's what I was waiting for. Actually yung lo-fi song, I thought that was your song.
That is if I want a new entrance theme. I got 2 in the pocket.
All right.
No, I just want to say about the theme. Thank God it was uploaded on Spotify. I've been waiting for that.
Yes.
It was just uploaded.
Nasa Spotify rap mo na ba, Emil?
Next year.
Wala.
Lagay mo next year.
Next year, sigurado ako.
Put Joey Roque on your Spotify Wrapped list.
Yeah, the man deserves it.
Yep.
All right, let's get to your pick, Rowan, for new wrestling theme of the year.
Oh yeah, my pick is Jimmy Uso's new theme song, Born a King. So I like this theme song kasi it's a huge upgrade from the Usos theme song from the nung tag team pa sila. And I think hindi siya lazy like the one like Jay is using. I know it's a common knowledge that kapag yung face member ng tag team is becoming a singles wrestler, siya yung kukuha ng theme song niya.
Not always, but okay, carry on.
Yeah, pero yun nga. I do like this theme song kasi hindi siya lazy and maangas siyang pakinggan. If you come to listen to it on Spotify or wherever you listen to music, to WWE music. Yeah, the lyrics were altered, pero yeah, I do like it. It still has the same tune as the Day One-ish song, pero I like the intro, yung parang yung kay Roman Reigns. Like, was that a piano?
Mandolin.
Mandolin. There you go. Yeah.
All right. Si Chino naman, his pick for wrestling theme of the year is Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting by Elton John. It's an old song, but this year lang naging theme because of AEW Collision.
It's actually pretty good, yeah. It's not a bad pick. He was pretty clever for this pick. It's a great theme.
It's fun.
At first, I wasn't sold on it when I heard that Elton John was All Elite.
Yeah.
Kasi I know the song. I knew the song before this, and I didn't think much of it. But when I saw them use it, when I heard them use it on the OBB, nakita ko nga na bagay siya. So it's a pretty good pick.
Yeah. Si babyface producer Jasper tinatanong, does Worlds Apart, yung theme ni Sami Zayn, count? Kasi they're using it again. No, it's old.
It's old, man.
It's a decade-old theme at this point.
Yeah, 2013.
Pero pwede siya for Return of the Year. Right? Okay, let's get to our pick. And when I say our, it's me, Emil, and Ro, and it's locked in. The theme of Trick Williams. We gotta give Booker T a credit here because Booker T is like half the reason why this theme is a bop.
Medyo madaya ito eh. Medyo madaya itong pick na to. It's a theme. It's a theme that wins because of Booker T and the crowd. So it's not necessarily Def Rebel's production here. It sets up the alley-oop, yes. Pero one, the crowd makes it with the whoop that trick chant. So at this point, you do have to remix it with that built in, diba? If ever there's a crowd that doesn't know the thing. And then the second part is Booker T's ad-libs, which Trick himself has inserted into the canon. So that is why it works. It's so catchy, it's so infectious, it's pretty simple, and may crowd participation. And who doesn't love crowd participation?
Yeah, si Booker T yung wrestling equivalent ni Lil Jon apparently. So with a theme like this, I think it really boosted yung stock ni Trick Williams. But we talked about him as our Rookie of the Year, and I've always said that like a big percentage of what makes a wrestler a superstar is their entrance. Like if you can tell who's coming out within 3 to 5 seconds, diba, you've got that hook, that makes a superstar recognizable. Diba? Yung kay Stone Cold, the glass shattering. For the Rockets, if you smell, or kay John Cena, the opening notes of My Time Is Now. So I think we're onto something here with Trick. And I dare say that yung package pa lang is already better than Melo's.
Yeah. Obviously, yes. They hit a gold mine with this.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Emil, go ahead.
No, I'm pretty much agreeing with what you guys said. The theme itself is okay, but what made it really special is the crowd in Booker T. So
madaya siya.
But I wish in the future it could be remixed in. Para at least when he goes to the main roster.
Featuring Booker T.
And,
babayaran mo ng royalties tong si Booker T.
And probably the crowd doesn't know who he is. So it could boost up his main roster run if you just remix that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's get to our next category, which is Celebrity Wrestler of the Year. And guys, sobrang obvious naman ng choice dito. I think the only rightful winner is Snoop Dogg and what he did to Shane McMahon.
Hell yeah.
I'm kidding, obviously.
Ang galing niya mag-adlib eh.
Last year, it would have been Rowan's favorite wrestler, Johnny Knoxville. Last year, if we had this award last year, would have been him. Easy.
But on the real, we're not making fun of Shane McMahon. Very unfortunate, syempre, nangyari nung WrestleMania. And, props to Snoop for ad-libbing when he had to. Because the guy did ad-lib, to be fair. But the real recipients of the award are as follows. Let's start with Emil's pick.
All right, so my pick goes out to one Bad Bunny, and I know he only had one match this year, but that match I feel like should have main evented Backlash, and it was one of the most entertaining matches of the year. Of course, the Sun One street fight against Damian Priest, and I really loved that match because first his entrance, he basically turned Backlash from a wrestling PLE to almost like a concert for 2 minutes when he came out and then the crowd were singing along to his song. I've never seen anything like that in wrestling. Yeah, I've never seen anything. It was so cool. And again, he was excellent in that match. Very memorable performance. And I just want to say about this the reason why we're having this Celebrity Wrestler of the Year award. I say that's one of the positive things that has come out of wrestling in the last 2 years is that celebrities stepping into the ring isn't seen as a joke anymore. And the celebrities that had taken part in wrestling over the last couple of years, they really took it seriously, and it made for some of the most entertaining stuff in wrestling in the last couple of years. So for this year, my pick goes out to Bad Bunny.
All right. And everybody else on the pod picked the obvious choice, the United States champion, Logan Paul.
Yeah, I don't think we need to explain this one. If you saw WWE this year, the guy had 3, 4, 5 matches. They were all good. Siyempre, medyo madaya din kasi he has time to prepare. He doesn't do this week to week. But when he does go out there, he belongs. Gotta say, even though I have some, misgivings a little bit about Logan Paul's wrestling career, siyempre, it's the right way to go about it when you are a celebrity like he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all natural. When he steps into the ring, he really belongs in the ring.
Mm-hmm. All right, easy category, Celebrity Wrestler of the Year. Let's move on to Manager of the Year. And for the pod, 2 choices kami dito. We're going to start with, ladies first. So let's go with Rowan Chino's pick.
Yeah, if you don't follow the indie scene, you may not be familiar with this. But the former Persia Pirata from NXT is now Matt Cardona, FKA Zack Ryder's manager in the Indies. Siya yung Miss Elizabeth ng Randy Savage niya. And they're not together, obviously, because Matt Cardona's married to Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
But you would never know it if you didn't know any better. So Steph Delander, SDL, has been managing Matt Cardona for this for his historic indie wrestling run. And at this point, you can't have his indie god character without her. So siya yung 2023 China, if you will. So that's a more apt comparison, I think. The whole thing works. I think it works a lot better with her in it, except other than aside from instead of Chelsea Green. And I feel like if WWE picks up Matt Cardona again because of this run, they have to do it with Steph Delander.
Yeah, it's amazing how she just completely repackaged herself while taking advantage of the clout that comes with being a former NXT talent. Kasi syempre, yun pa rin yung big draw for her, di ba? Before she became SDL. So, good job siya dun for just turning her career around following her release. Meanwhile, kami ni Emil, our pick is Prince Nana. We showed him so much love in our previous episode for the Dance of the Year, but just Prince Nana being an absolute character in AEW. This is a guy who started out as a wrestler, then became a longtime manager in Ring of Honor. He found a career resurgence even though nung time ng pandemic, he was actually ready to hang up his managerial tights or boots, so to speak, and move on from the industry. And now he's, one of the hottest things in wrestling, and he's made me change my annual Paul Heyman selection for Manager of the Year. This is the first time that I've picked someone not named Paul Heyman for this category.
We just witnessed history right here.
No. Sorry, Emil, go ahead. This is your pick, brother.
No, because again, I just have to give him some flowers as well. Like I say, he has been in the game for a long time, and a lot of people may not be aware, but he was a staple in the pre-TK Ring of Honor. So that's how long he has been with the company. And the dude stuck around in the business for long, and I'm glad that it was never too late for him to be given his flowers because he really deserves it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that again because I said this before in a previous episode of the show. Pero people did not know who Prince Nana was if they weren't watching late 2000s, early 2010s Ring of Honor. Kaya I'm happy for the guy that he is the second member of the embassy to become famous after Tommaso Ciampa. Deserve niya kasi he's been busting his ass for years now, and then it proves again that never too old to catch a break.
Yeah, deserve. All right, let's get to Babyface of the Year. So we're gonna start with Rose pick because this one is a babyface turn that we probably would not have called at this time last year.
Yeah. Okay. My pick is none other than one Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I had been calling for MJF to turn face for the longest time because he was teasing it in his feuds versus guys like CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, diba? Lagi siya may origin story. He paints himself as this innocent kid that ends up being led astray by the circumstances of his life, right? And I can tell that there was a babyface in there waiting to get out because people were cheering him. People wanted a reason to cheer MJF. They've wanted one, but he kept letting him down because syempre, he understands how to be a heel. So to be a heel, you gotta let the people interested in you down and disappoint them in some way. So I'm glad that he finally embraced it, and he not only embraced it, but he did it in one of the best ways I've seen so far. So you can turn face and half-ass it, diba? You can just align yourself with the good guy and then call it a day. But no, he exhibited an entire character transformation, may character development siya. If you were watching AEW in the middle of 2023, he documented how he came to trust and befriend Adam Cole. He documented his own vulnerability. He opened himself up to the possibility of Adam Cole turning on him. And then eventually he embraced being Adam Cole's best friend. And that's what we now see. People don't like it. Some people don't like it because they like the heel MJF. But this face turn is a lot harder to pull off if you don't have the proper narrative support. And he got all of that, and he hit it out of the park. That's why he is my face of the year.
What I like about the MJF face turn is hindi siya yung biglang nag-180 siya, naging goody-goody two-shoes agad. This is a character who's still learning to be a babyface, diba? Para siyang totoong tao na you don't just suddenly develop new character traits, diba? Meron pa rin leftover traits in you that you can see in MJF, diba? He still goes low sometimes against his opponents, whether it's on the mic or in the ring. He's very much aminado na scumbag pa rin siya. Sometimes he does need his friends like sina Adam Cole to like rein him in and be like, no, that's not how you're supposed to act. You're supposed to ganito ganyan. So, he's like a child na tinuturuan pa rin in real time. And this is a journey we're actually seeing unfold. So, I appreciate the narrative behind MJF and how yung face turn niya is actually carefully crafted together as a story, as opposed to a lot of these other stories, both in wrestling as a whole, na sometimes napaka half-baked kasi minamadali. For some reason, this MJF story, there's so much attention and care being put into it.
The reason is because he is a top champion. He is the face of the company. So I think, and if this is true, and this is really just speculation on my end, but if he demanded a proper story be told, and I think he does naman, kasi all his feuds and storylines have been really intricate, if they don't always work. But if he demands it to be like this, then I think they're giving him the best possible creative.
All right, let's get to Emil's pick for Babyface of the Year.
All right, so my babyface of the year goes out to Sami Zayn, and he is one of the best reclamation projects under the Triple H era, and because before we already seen this from Sami Zayn, like 10 years ago in NXT, we already seen this potential of him being a top babyface, and it was rough for a while. After that, it was rough for a while. I felt like the company wasn't backing him for some reason, but they put under Triple H, he put all his eggs in the basket for Sami Zayn, and it worked. The Bloodline story was the start of it, and that pretty much, I feel like he was unstoppable after that. The crowd, he finally got the support of the crowd again, and we all saw that. I'm gonna talk about this more because Sami, spoiler alert, Sami's gonna win a lot of these awards here for the rest of the episode. So, I just love that he is a babyface again. Because when he turned heel, I thought, oh my god, he's never gonna have that support again. But I'm glad that I was wrong, and now he's established as one of the biggest babyfaces in WWE. No matter what happens from now on. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we probably wouldn't have been able to say na Sami would main event WrestleMania, at this point last year, and yet he was able to go on a heck of a run. And I think the only thing na medyo nakakalungkot, I guess, is that nawala ng follow-through si Sami towards the end of 2023. But that entire first half, from him breaking away from the Bloodline to Elimination Chamber in Montreal to WrestleMania, diba, to him and Kevin Owens being the top tag team on Raw, that's an all-time stretch for Sami. Kayo, Rowan, ikaw, I noticed you didn't have any picks for this category.
I'm actually, at the last minute, parang bala kong makiride sa Sami Zayn bandwagon. Kasi, for some reason, I can see myself in him. Kasi parang, he was there to be like the voice of reason. Parang, napansin ko lang, like, he would be there to convince Jey Uso na, oh, let's not do this, let's be goody-goody na. Parang ganun. So, yeah.
All right. Let's get to the next pick then for Face of the Year. Kami ni Chino, we share this one, and it's Cody Rhodes. And I think with Cody, he's finally getting to live out what he wanted to be sa AEW, which is both the kayfabe and corporate face of the company, where he goes out and he engages with the kids. He does all of these media appearances, does all of the press tours, and then on screen, on TV, siya yung embodiment talaga of what it means to be an actual babyface. His positioning on the card has been at the top or near the top throughout the entire year, starting with his big return ng Royal Rumble. And yes, we can argue over whether or not napaka babyface of him ba yung coming in at number 30 only to win the whole damn thing, which was Rowe's biggest gripe coming out of the Royal Rumble. But after that, he's made up for it naman. He did the whole finish the story thing, did WrestleMania, had that series of matches with Brock Lesnar, and even getting to a point where he was able to mend fences with Seth Rollins even temporarily para lang malampasan nila yung Judgment Day over on War Games. All of that has been pretty compelling for Cody, and it's safe to say that it's really the engine that's gonna drive him towards the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. Hindi lang natin alam kung paano, but it's there, diba? I'm actually interested to see how he fits into CM Punk's story, if at all, kasi both of them have the shared trait of being former AEW guys, big stars, big names. So that's kind of what I want to see from Cody Rhodes going forward, aside from the fact na he is headed towards that collision course with Roman Reigns.
I will say that Cody, yung point mo kanina about being the face, he did learn from the John Cena playbook of being the face of the company. So that is a plus point. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else try to do that. I think Roman came close, pero not so much. Ito, kuwang-kuha na yung ginagawa ni Cena.
Yeah.
It's almost a carbon copy. And it's not a bad thing kasi
you do need that guy.
You do need that guy. You do need that kind of professional representing the company, the biggest company in the world. So props to Cody for that.
Mm-hmm. Kaya, Emil, Rowan, any thoughts on Cody?
Oh yeah,
Finish the story.
Finish the story. Yeah, but Cody has had an incredible year. Kasi last year, na-cut off yun with his injury. And, we all thought that the WrestleMania he was going to finish the story, pero hindi pa pala nakatadhana. And, and during that time, he was able to redeem himself talaga in my eyes. Because kung nanalo siya nung Mania, I don't think he would have had any character development throughout the year had he won. Pero because of that, he was able to, again, we're in the middle of a redemption arc for Cody, and we expected to finish his story at Mania.
Mm-hmm. All right. Kung merong face of the year, syempre dapat merong heel of the year. So I'm going to start with my pick before I get to everyone else's pick. I picked Dominic Mysterio here just because he is such a little shit, diba? When we see him on TV, he goes out and as soon as he puts the mic near his lips, hindi mo na siya marinig because of all the booing. I think he does such a great job of being a heel by, one, being super annoying, two, having that annoying mullet haircut, three, being taking elements from the Christian Cage playbook, who is everyone else's pick on the podcast. He's very, very smart, but also a chicken shit heel, despite the fact na hindi naman siya maliit, like matangkad siyang tao. He's not as big as Damian Priest, he's not as imposing as Drew McIntyre, but he is very effective at playing the chicken shit heel. And it's also really effective na he's paired up alongside Rhea Ripley. Like, diba, in real life, we hate the guys na sobrang kupal or sobrang nakakainis yung itsura nila and then they're next to a very attractive woman. Diba? Nakakainis sila by default. So, Dom has put all of these elements together, plus Nepo baby pa siya. Diba? So, all of these annoying elements that he's able to incorporate into his character, which I think make for a very convincing heel. And that's why he's my pick for heel of the year. If you guys have no thoughts on Dom, we can go straight into why Christian Cage is your pick.
My thoughts are in conjunction with our pick. Okay, so as mentioned, our pick for heel of the year, which is to say myself, Rowan, Emil, Chino, our pick is one Christian Cage. So, okay, all those things make Dominic a good heel. He's definitely a good heel. But nobody works as hard to be shitty than one Jaybird. So this guy stumbled into an entire meme, as we mentioned in the previous episode. He stumbled into being the top heel, arguably, at least for a time in AEW. Kasi naging face si MJF, diba?
Yeah.
So he was the hottest heel, I think not so much right now, but earlier this year, he dominated everyone by starting a whole meme. I've explained that in the previous episode. And he worked hard for that. I think a lot of people were writing him off because, as mentioned in his feud with Edge with Adam Copeland, he doesn't get as much of the adulation as Adam Copeland, the recognition. And then he found something that worked. He actively turned it up. And he worked the shit out of it. I think Dominic, he just stumbled into it and kind of rode the coast of people agreeing to boo him every night, every night wherever they are on Raw or SmackDown. And ito, si Christian talaga, he finds a way to piss you off, especially when he is also pretty over as a meme. So for the fact alone that he found his way to the top in a industry that was ready to write him off, I applaud Christian Cage and it will give him his flowers.
I think para siyang so between Matt and Jeff, parang siya na yung Matt Hardy.
Sure. Okay.
Diba? Parang na-overshadow siya dati ni Edge, kumbaga, parang ganun. So yeah, when Christian was a heel in WWE, parang he's just the mouse in a cat and mouse game. Like, he will do something annoying, and then magpapahabol siya kay Sheamus or like kay Randy Orton. But this time it's different. He has become a better version of himself, and parang he really worked hard on this. It's like the TNA Christian who established the Christians Coalition, pero it's way better. It's even more interesting when he became the TNT champion, or no, when Luchasaurus became the TNT champion, and then he's just claiming that he is the champion. I like this new Christian, and kasi when he debuted in AEW, parang okay, it's not really that special. It's just Christian here. Wow. But right now, oh yeah, I really enjoy him.
Yeah. Again, who would have guessed that there's another heel run for Christian Cage? Because when he came back, I felt like he was gonna have this one final run where he's gonna just wrestle and then that's it. But he had another gear in him to be relevant and to be popular. And to be over, diba? This heel run of his, probably, I think I could say this is his best work ever. I mean, he has been through a lot. He has been a tag team legend with Edge. He was a great in TNA. He was a world heavyweight champion. He had that, but this is his best run, and this is like very different from all the runs that he had before. And again, he had a very spectacular year. And if he can end his career on this note, then I feel like it would be. I feel like he would be fulfilled. Now he can end his career in the future with a great act like this one.
Again, never too old to catch a break.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Christian Cage at the ripe old age of 50.
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously, he's legitimately 50.
Doesn't look
yes,
it.
It's 50. Yeah. Yeah, true.
All right, let's move on to Tag Team of the Year. And for this category, lahat kami, isa lang yung piniling sagot, consensus kung consensus. And it's the team of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That first half talaga of 2023 was a monster run for this pair of babyfaces.
Yeah. I think the biggest factor that made me agree with everyone here is because they were given nuance, they were given meat, they were given something deep to work with. They were able to go from reluctant frenemies to brothers once more, and they detailed every step of that journey, and that's what I really love about that. Medyo madaya kasi, they got time to do this. They got the airtime to flesh this story out, but they again, like MJF, they got set up and they knocked it out of the park.
Ikaw, Rowan, why did you agree with this pick?
Ako, for just for the simple reason na I like parang the good cop bad cop type of team, na parang we have Sami Zayn who's like the goody two shoes while Kevin Owens is the grumpy guy. That's the only reason I love this tag team. Because of their decade-long friendship.
Mm-hmm. Emil?
Yeah, and this isn't really exactly the first time that they've teamed up in WWE. I've seen this before, but I feel like this is the first time that they got a proper run where the story of them teaming up was established really well, and they were tag team partners for a long time until November, where Kevin Owens got moved to SmackDown. And I like that the way they did that is by just that, instead of KO turning on Sammy again, which I don't think would have worked anymore, because they already established the story of them being reluctant teaming up with each other and then becoming brothers again and bonding again. So from that point until the point that they separated ways, I really liked their run. And for a while, they were the standard bearers of Raw. I mean, they were defending the tag team titles.
So they main eventers.
Almost every 2 weeks. So they were the standard bearers of Raw for a while. And I'm going to give them credit. They really did have a lot of great matches during their title reign.
Yeah, sabi mo, Emil, na you were scared na KO would turn on Sammy, so si KO yung sisisihin mo for the breakup of their team. But now, we can blame Cody Rhodes kasi he orchestrated Kevin Owens' move to SmackDown. All right, of course, we gotta award our female wrestler of the year. Ito naman, for the single stars. We have 3 different names on our list. Emil, you and Chino share your pick, so you can go first.
All right, so my pick and Chino's pick as well goes out to Timeless Toni Storm. And so after she debuted and after us already establishing this badass Aussie chick gimmick from a while back, I didn't know that she had it in her to reinvent herself and be this ridiculous 50s movie star. And it actually works. And as ridiculous as that gimmick sound in 2023, she actually made that work. And she's a champion again. She gets rewarded for having a reinvention and one of the best career turnarounds I've seen from anyone this year. So yeah, so she deserves all the flowers. And so that's our pick, Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with it. Okay siya. It's just that I didn't pick it because it happened a little too late for it to matter this year. So I'm looking forward to how she impacts the company next year.
Hindi lang yun, like, she had to go through the failure of the Outcasts run. Like, it's kind of like CM Punk returning to WWE. Like, that doesn't happen without the ugliness of Brawl Out, diba? Timeless Toni Storm, I'm sorry to say this, I love Toni Storm, but that doesn't happen without the failure of the Outcasts.
Totoo yan.
Ako, the only reason I like yung Timeless Toni Storm gimmick is because it reminds me of, like, the vintage tag team gimmick na those tag team wrestlers from AEW Dark, whoever they are, I forgot who they are. I'm sorry. Pero
no, not the Outrunners.
Basta parang sobrang 80s yung dating nila.
Oh, the Outrunners. Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. There they go.
I called them the Roadrunners. Sorry about that.
Okay, anyway, yeah, I'm a fan of like parang going back in time type of gimmick, and I think Toni Storm was one of the first female wrestlers to do it. So yeah, that's why I like her for this gimmick.
All right. Ako naman, my pick for female wrestler of the year is Rhea Ripley. Because I think that the Rhea Ripley run for 2023 has been so strong. From winning the Royal Rumble at number 1 to winning the championship from Charlotte Flair, and then being the leader of the Judgment Day, even though she's not explicitly acknowledged as the leader. All of the things she's done with that championship, I think it's no question that she's my female wrestler of the year. Plus, the fact that as mommy, diba, as the leader of the Judgment Day, parang tumaas palalo yung popularity ni Rhea Ripley, says a lot about what she's done for herself brand-wise. So, it also doesn't hurt that her matches have been pretty fun. I just wish na mas compelling yung mga feuds niya. Kasi a lot of the success of the Rhea Ripley characters is because of how she interacts with the men. So as an anchor of the women's division, I think yung parang weakness niya is the stories just haven't really hit as hard. Like, I would say that the other women's stories have been more compelling, like Becky versus Trish, diba? That was actually a more interesting women's story that we got in 2023. So yun lang, just to be objective and fair with my selection about Rhea Ripley.
Okay. So that means it's time for our pick, myself and Rowan. I agree with all your picks, by the way, but I think I have to give flowers to one special legend, in the business. One, Trish Stratus, who came back earlier this year and put on a hell of a possibly last, I'm not sure kung super last, but she has a story waiting for her if she comes back. Run in WWE. So at 48, you can apparently get better, get hotter, and reinvent yourself. Not super reinventing, but just prove that you have some more left in the tank. So just because of all that, just because we didn't expect a Trish Stratus run like this at all, I want to make her my female wrestler of the year. It just gives hope for anyone who thinks they might be over the hill, kahit di naman pala talaga. Just go for it. Get it right, prepare yourself, do the work, and who knows what could happen. You could get a pretty awesome run like Trish Stratus.
I said it before na I guess this was from the Mania the Mania this year, 2023. At saka Night of Champions when Trish Stratus faced Becky Lynch. I said na I think Trish's run right now is better than her run back in the Ruthless Aggression era. I'm not saying her run back then was shit, pero like...
Oh no, it's a different time, so I agree with that.
Yeah, pero parang it's like she's born in the wrong era. Parang ganun. And mas na-showcase niya yung talent niya like post-retirement. And her 2023 run is, yun na nga, like I mentioned, it's better than her Ruthless Aggression era run.
All right. I'm shocked that you guys sung Trish's praises and yet you did not say thank you, Trish. What a failure on our part. And so I say on behalf of the Wrestling Podcast, thank you, Trish.
Thank you, Trish.
Thank you, Trish.
All right, for Male Wrestler of the Year, ito, split decision tayong lahat. Let's start with you, Rowan. Who's your Male Wrestler of the Year?
My Male Wrestler of the Year will go to Jey Uso. So, for me, he deserves it because he has finally separated himself from the bloodline, and parang he's just enough with the manipulation, all the gaslighting. Tsaka nakaka-relate lang din ako. So, if your family is being toxic, just stay away, get out, run as far as you can. Like,
you need to celebrate Christmas and New Year somewhere else, Rowan. Is this a cry for help?
Wow. You okay?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay. Sige.
So, yeah, pero just like Jey Uso,
we can book you a trip to Naga. Nun ka kina Emil.
Stay away from your cousins. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right, Emil, who is your Male Wrestler of the Year?
Okay, my Male Wrestler of the Year goes out to Will Ospreay. And if you've been listening to this show constantly, I think I already spoiled this a couple of times. And in the picks of the week, there was a time where I'll always pick a Will Ospreay match. And I thought he already peaked last year, 2022. I think I also picked Will Ospreay last year, if I'm not mistaken. But he had another gear to go, and he went all out across every promotion, it seems, except WWE in 2023, having great matches in New Japan, Impact, Rev Pro, and ultimately AEW, where he ended up, and he's now signed full time. And I feel like this was some sort of a contract year for Will Ospreay, because he knows at the end of this year he's gonna get a big bag, and he showed out. He went out there and had one of the greatest years of anyone in wrestling, and he got the bag. And now he's in AEW starting next year, and he can now showcase to a much wider, bigger audience as to why he's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
I love yung analogy mo of the contract year. So for those who don't follow professional sports, diba? Yung contract year, the concept behind that is last year of your contract. So you're gonna go all out talaga sa performances mo so that your next contract can be as lucrative as it can be. So that's the Spark Notes version of the contract year. All right, moving on to my pick, which I share with Chino. It's got to be Seth Rollins. Like, I think Rollins has done a very good job of establishing himself as the standard bearer of WWE. And as much as Cody Rhodes is the corporate face of the company, Seth Rollins is the workhorse of the company. And I think those are two different things, especially since Seth never took time off. Seth is still world champion despite a broken back, diba? I mean, we've kind of laughed about the broken back stipulation or storyline with Nakamura, but Seth has had quite the year, diba? He had Logan Paul, no WrestleMania season, went ahead and became the franchise player of Monday Night Raw, is now carrying and establishing the current lineage of this World Heavyweight Championship. In a vacuum, yung matches niya have always been very good at the very least. So Rollins, for me, has really solidified himself as the clear 1A to Roman's 1 in WWE.
Hey, my pick of the week, my male wrestler of the year is none other than AEW's Orange Cassidy. Last year, I picked Jon Moxley as my male wrestler of the year, and it was because in 2022, he was the most consistent male wrestler in the world, I think. Wala siyang palya. He carried the company when others have failed. Wink, wink, CM Punk. So
is that a CM Punk reference?
It is.
Is that a CM Punk reference?
It actually is. And this year, Orange Cassidy was the guy to do it.
He doesn't have a catchphrase.
He doesn't have a catchphrase, and he stopped saying that as well. Tapos, whenever you needed a good match on any given week of AEW television, he was the guy to do it. Sa lahat, Jon Moxley had to take some time off then this year, and he carried the load. You can always point to an Orange Cassidy match as the best part of Dynamite or a Rampage, and then eventually a Collision. So, to the point na Tony Khan could not do without an Orange Cassidy match on Dynamite. It was almost a cheat code for him. And the guy even had character development.
Yeah.
He was completely almost done with the slacker gimmick, yung walang pakialam. Now he cared. He even feuded with Jon Moxley because he cared. He showed his gimmick is now just going out there and having good matches. So it's hard to not point to Orange Cassidy as the guy who kept AEW up, kasi you don't have guys like Bryan Danielson or MJF or Adam Cole or Jon Moxley and even CM Punk malamang all the time. So that he was the guy who was always there. He was always there for all of it.
Mm-hmm. So there, congratulations to all of our picks for the individual awards dito sa ating year-end award show. We're down to our last two categories. And we're going to get to Story of the Year. And no, we're not talking about the emo band from the 2000s. We are talking about the literal storyline of the year. So, I'm gonna start with yung pick namin na Emil and Rowan, and that is the rise of Sami Zayn and his reunion with Kevin Owens. And I think if you followed WWE programming for this year or even this award show, it speaks for itself how compelling it was, how we were also invested in it to the point that there would have been a riot if Sami and KO did not main event WrestleMania. And win.
Yeah.
Tama, diba? Had those two things not happened, ape shit would have been unleashed on the company that I work for. So, I think they did all the right things in making Sami and KO legitimate main eventers in 2023. And the story was just really, really well told here. I appreciated every bit of it. From my perspective, calling these matches that they were involved in, it was so cathartic, so fun. And I'm sure from your experience, Rowan and Emil, being at the viewing parties, it was hella fun as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I like the rise of Sami Zayn because, just like kanina with Jey Uso, so he is being manipulated by his family, by his cousin. This time, kind of relate because he's trying to fit it. Sami Zayn is trying to fit in with this, with the bloodline, with his friends, and he's still not part of the bloodline, and up to the last parang honorary us pa rin siya. And despite trying his best, parang he didn't make the cut. So and then eventually parang he just want to go out and then reunite with Kevin Owens because it's the right thing to do. Even if the right thing to do is the hardest thing to do.
Wow. That got deep.
Bro. Yeah. Again, agreeing with you guys. I really love the way they told the reunion story with Kevin Owens. I said despite saving him no Elimination Chamber, despite all of that, KO was still reluctant to help Sammy, considering Sammy was a part of the bloodline who made his life a living hell. And then, this storyline also encapsulates one of the best things about WWE after Triple H took over is that there's a human element, there's a human nature element in the stories in that faces don't have to be friends with one another. And there's an element of yung mga past things na ginawa mo, hindi basta-basta nakakalimutan ng mga wrestlers. And KO was an example of that. Like he's pretty much the role model for that trope these days that they use. So, and again, that moment at WrestleMania, we were there, Rowan, at the viewing party. Rowan, we were also there. And that was the best pop of the entire WrestleMania when they won the tag team titles. So it was the feel-good, also the feel-good moment of the year. And we also saw them have this incredible run as tag team champions. So this was really the year of Sammy and Kevin.
All right. China's pick is...
Let me just get my pick out of the way since I already talked about it at length.
Okay.
So my pick for story of the year is MJF and Adam Cole being best friends, from enemies to best friends. They went through everything from expecting each other to turn on each other, expecting one to turn on the other, and becoming the best friends. So I talked about that in the MJF pick for face of the year. So just reinforcing that here.
All right. Kay Chino, it's the ongoing saga between Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, which I get why he likes this kasi syempre it goes all the way back to his origins as a wrestling fan ng Attitude Era. My only issue with this pick is it's still an ongoing story.
Yeah.
And medyo pasimula pa lang siya. It's only been 2 months in.
I do understand why it is a nice pick though.
Yeah, sure.
It is the actual breakup story that WWE fans never got in 2001.
Yes,
Vince kind of hamstrung that one for one reason or another because he didn't like Christian that much. So by virtue of that alone, this already makes for a pretty solid pick. But I would have to judge it next year, not this year, when it's all over.
Mm-hmm. Okay, time for the main event, our last category for 2023, and that is Match of the Year. I'm going to start with mine kasi pinag-usapan na natin at length. The Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn from WrestleMania 39. All I'll say na lang na hindi ko pa nasasabi is this was my favorite match to call this year.
Right. Okay.
Just because of all of the emotions that went into it. Normally, I cheer for the heels kasi ako yung color commentator ni Carlo, diba? But this one, I could not help but encourage KO and Sami na, this is your moment. Chance nyo na to, ganyan, without saying it. Like, finish the story. So, just so many good feelings all around because of the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Let's go to Emil. Let's stay on the Sami Zayn hype train here.
Yeah, this is Sami Zayn Love Fest. My match of the year goes out to Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns from Elimination Chamber this year. So before this, I went back and watched all the main events of the PLEs over the last week, and I must say there was no match this year that I was more invested in and evoked so much emotions than this one. And I remember us in the podcast, we were weeks leading into this match. We were debating because there were too many characters involved. There's the Cody, there's the Cody Rhodes, like anong gagawin niya. There's the Roman element, there's the Rock element. So there was this unpredictability heading into this match. Na we were like so into it as to what will happen, no? And again, the story heading to the match, everything that surrounds it, the crowd, the Montreal crowd was so amazing. The entrances, like they were booing Roman so much. I feel like this was the crowd that booed Roman the most this year.
All year, yeah.
Yeah, and the Sami Zayn entrance with the theme song, he got that theme song that same week, and the stare down before the match, the trash talk. I mean, it far supersedes anything that happened, like any in-ring action, because the story in itself was really good. They didn't have to go all crazy with the spots. They simply needed to tell that story, and it was laid out perfectly. As much as I really wanted for Sami to win that match, even now, even after all the things that happened, I really wish that we could have that Eddie Guerrero moment of Sami Zayn winning the title. And after the match, I mean, I went through the 5 stages of grief. It was, I don't think I'm the only one here. I went through that.
No, that's probably just you.
That's how much I was
getting
invested. I really wanted Sami to get, even though I know na Cody versus Roman is pretty much penciled in, but I really wanted Sami to win that match. And again, there was no match that made me feel that way this year other than this one. That's why I'm picking this.
All right. Rowan, let's finish us off. It's a WWE side of Match of the Year.
Yeah, so my pick goes back to WrestleMania 39. It's Gunther defending his Intercontinental title versus Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Well, he successfully defended it against those two guys. I see that, this all began with Sheamus and Drew teaming up and contending for the SmackDown tag titles. Pero when they failed to win that tournament, parang doon na nagsimula yung feud nila. And when they entered this Intercontinental title match, parang it was like that Mania 20 main event na parang nag-focus sila sa kanila lang, si Sheamus tsaka si Drew, that they forgot the champion. So they lost. So Gunther retained. It was talking about the match though. It's like Clash at the Castle 2022. So Gunther versus Sheamus, pero it's a huge upgrade since we added Drew. And there was also rumors na by this time na Drew was about to parang leave the WWE daw. Pero he stayed. Pero yeah, parang anybody can win this match, pero it's gonna be Gunther. So that it's unpredictable, pero it's predictable at the same time. It's a weird way to say it, but yeah, you get what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Chino's pick for Match of the Year is an Impact match. It's Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay. I'm gonna be honest. I actually haven't seen this match. So, okay, have you guys had the time to catch this one?
I remember having seen it.
Yeah.
So Emil, go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah, actually, this was actually a pick of mine. From
it was.
When
I
this
remember.
happened. It was. This was I actually prefer the Ospreay versus Bailey.
Bailey
that happened a week after this. Before this one, but yeah, this was a really good match because of the Clash of Styles. I already explained it on Pick of the Week, so go listen to that one. So this is a dream matchup of like a Clash of Styles. Because Josh is the technical wizard, and then Will Ospreay is the explosive high flyer, and nagmix yung styles sila. That's why this was a really great match, really great main event for Impact that week. But yeah, this was a good match, but I would have preferred the Ospreay versus Bailey one from Bound for Glory. That was, I think, the best Impact match this year. But this one, hindi siya nanalayo as the second best.
Yeah, part of Will Ospreay's contract year run. All right, Ro, finish us off with the Mumug ng Dugo.
Oh my God.
Match of the Year, Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page. Texas Death Match at Full Gear 2023.
This match isn't for everyone.
Yes, we have mentioned that when we talked about it. It's not for everyone, but it is for one person, and it is one Swerve Strickland. It wasn't a match that was really designed to catapult him to the main event. It wasn't designed to make him a world championship contender. It wasn't going to be a face of the company because of it, but he did all of that and more with that, that and Hangman Page's out of the box extraordinary performance in a Texas Death Match that wasn't even the main event. And Who would have thought na hardcore death matches aren't really mainstream because of their nature, because of their violent nature. But once this happened, I felt like all wrestling fans needed to see this, whether they could stomach it or not. Kasi here was the performance of men, again, not just Swerve, but also Hangman, of men who would put themselves through absolute hell without breaking bones or anything, without without destroying themselves too much, just inflicting flesh wounds, I would say, to really convey and put over the fact that they just straight up hated each other.
Yeah.
The drama of pro wrestling told through
willing magpatayan.
Exactly. Told through violence. And you don't see that every day. You don't see that every month. You don't see that every week when you watch your wrestling TV. And the fact that they were willing to do that elevated both men, especially Swerve, who won the match and is poised to hopefully become a face of the company in 2024. So because it is so unusual relatively, I feel that this is the match of the year.
Maybe if I was younger, may enjoy ko itong match na to.
Sure.
Pero ever since studying microbiology and shit,
you do have
becoming a germaphobe and all.
Yeah, you do have the power of, you do have the science behind you.
Yeah. Parang di ko siya na-enjoy. Like, if there was a black and white version, siguro mas ma-enjoy ko siya. In a way, yeah.
Stapler! Glass! Pag bumubog ng dugo!
Oh, yeah. Sarap.
Yeah. Parang nanood ng penitensya pero mas grisly. Ikaw, Emil, any thoughts on this one? Because kami ni Rowan, nangingilo kami dito eh.
Yeah, again, I like this match. Again, like nasabi ko to nung when we talked about this in the pick of the week. I was watching this at my girlfriend's house, and that was the only point where she questioned my fandom of wrestling. Why are you watching this? Why do you enjoy watching this?
If you haven't seen a wrestling match that doesn't make other people question your fandom, what are you even doing? At least once in your life. What are you even doing?
Ito, ulitin ko lang sinabi ko nung Picks of the Week episode na yun. I think Swerve versus Hangman from Full Gear is this generation's version of Cactus Jack versus Randy Orton.
Sure. Or maybe even the Undertaker versus Mankind Hell in a Cell match. Probably the closest thing because of the sheer humanity of it all.
Yeah. I still cannot get over Swerve gargling Hangman's blood.
Hangman
gargling Swerve's blood.
Di ba ginawa din yung Undertaker yun kay Bob Orton?
Sure.
I guess. See, I don't remember.
It's as shocking as, Undertaker pushing Mick Foley off of a cell.
Yeah. So there, those are our matches of the year, and that concludes the Wrestling Podcast Year-End Awards for 2023. We did it, guys! Woo! Survived! Woo! So, thank you to everyone who's been a part of 2023 for the podcast, from the listeners to the patrons, to people who've been joining us for our events, people who've been buying tickets, for everything, lahat mga pakulo natin, yung mga customers natin for Black Friday and all the other pasabays. We appreciate and acknowledge each and every one of you. Thank you as well to Babyface producers Jasper and Kuya Jeff over at TPN for handling everything behind the scenes, not only for this episode, but everything we've put out for 2023. And thank you as well to the Pod Network for taking us in this year and making us a part of your roster and your growing family of podcasts. And thank you for keeping us as a part of your wrestling diet. I hope that doesn't change as we head into 2024. And we're looking forward to so much more as we celebrate our 10th anniversary. We already said this last week, pero meron tayong giveaway ulit for our 10th anniversary in April. We'll tell you more about it as we get closer to WrestleMania season. But for now, we hope you are safe and that you enjoy the upcoming New Year celebrations. Sana buo pa rin yung mga daliri nyo. Sana sa labas kayo magpaputok, hindi sa loob.
Woo!
Right? In more ways than one. And that we can all see each other once again when we turn the calendar and head towards the Year of the Dragon. All right, so that brings us to the end of this episode. Follow us on Twitter and on TikTok at Wrestling2XPod, individually at Row is War, at EML_Meister, at Monday Night Rowan, at Chino Supersized, and at _StanC. On behalf of Rowan, Emil, and Ro, my name is Stan, and the Wrestling Podcast is officially done for 2023. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Later, weirdos. Bye-bye.
Peace. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Iputok mo na 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 na.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to